So I'm with the extremely talented Lea Goode-Harris in her hometown of Santa Rosa, which also gives its name to a famous labyrinth design by Lea herself, which you can find out about online, and Lea has wonderful resources around that describing how that came to be. But actually today we are in the grounds of the Schulz Museum. Charles Schulz, famous for being the cartoonist who created the Peanuts comic strip that appears in newspapers and magazines, and I guess it's been 70 years plus probably at the time we're making this that it's been going. Very long time, but it's probably the best known comic strip, I would imagine, in the world. And here we are sitting in the middle of a labyrinth, yet another labyrinth that Lea, with her many talents, designed. And this incredible labyrinth is in the shape of Snoopy. His head. So, Lea, how did this come to be?
Well, it was early in 2001 that I was asked to give a talk at the Luther Burbank, another famous person from Santa Rosa, the Luther Burbank Home and Gardens. And we set the date way off in the fall. And actually the date, Clive, that we set to do the labyrinth walk and talk was Tuesday, September 11th. And that tragic day happened. And the Luther Burbank Gardens called me up frantically, and they wanted to know what we should do. Should we cancel, or should we go ahead? And we decided that if even one person came that night, to have the labyrinths there, to be able to come together to process as best we could what had happened that day would be a good thing. So actually 25 people showed up that evening. Wow. And we shared what we were all going through, that emotions of that day we shared together. But one of the people that came that day was Jeannie Schulz, and the widow of Charles Schulz. And they were in the process of building the museum here that the labyrinth is out in front of.
Because he lived here, is that?
He lived here in Santa Rosa, and had built the ice arena, which is just across the road from where we're sitting right now, whereas as a teenager I used to go and ice skate.
Wow, wow.
So Jeannie was looking for something archetypal, something symbolic to put in front of the museum that would tie it to the neighborhood, that would be free for anybody to come 24/7 and connect to what this very generous piece of history has to offer to the community and visitors from around the world. So about a month later, Jeannie contacted me, and it was actually her idea. She said, "Do you think you could make a labyrinth in the shape of Snoopy's head?" And I said, "Sure." But not, I mean, and then it was like, it hit me, was like, oh my gosh, nothing's ever been done like that before. And what's so funny too is that our original idea for doing this was 12 feet by 12 feet.
Wow.
And so we're sitting in something that's actually 65 by 75 feet.
It's quite a path. Is this
quite
a sixth of a mile?
I believe so, yes.
Yes. So it's quite something.
And, making something, of course, it's not in the shape of a contemporary or traditional labyrinth design, which is concentric circles or a square. And I really feel that I was really influenced by the mound work of Alex Champion and his designs that move with the land, that listen to the land.
Yes.
And I think knowing Alex and experiencing his work really gave me permission on some level to go outside the box, so to speak. And so we are sitting in the middle of this very organic design that incorporates a meander switchback as well as a two-circuit classical labyrinth. And one of the other, there's
ingenious.
a bench behind us that mimics the collar, Snoopy's collar. And you can also sit on his nose, which is a giant...
Which I've done.
Yes, I have a picture of you in doing that. And it's a giant 2-ton granite egg from the mother lode.
Oh my
So
goodness.
from our Sierra Nevadas here in California.
That's extraordinary.
And then you wind through the meander. You can sit on his eye or his eyebrow. And then you end up where Clive and I are right now, in his ear. And the stonework is really incredible. It comes from our local quarry here in Santa Rosa called Wheeler Zamoroni, which most of our historic buildings here in Santa Rosa were quarried and made from. But Edwin Hamilton was the artist who created these benches, and he used techniques that were created by the indigenous people of Machu Picchu and Peru.
Wow,
So
it's really comfortable actually.
It
It's
is.
actually maybe after a long labyrinth walk, this is what you need in the centre.
and you could lie down and take a nap in the sun.
You know, I mean, obviously, every time you walk a labyrinth, you have a different experience. But for me, perhaps I was in the mood, talking about Snoopy and coming to this place, and it's a lovely sunny day, of course, as it always is in Santa Rosa, I'm sure.
Not always.
But the sweeps and these lovely opening and closing paths, and as you say, that slightly undulating, moving with the landscape, it has a playful feel about it. And so I was saying to Lea as we were walking this, if I was a kid, I would want a pedal car. Or maybe now I'm an adult, I want one of those miniature railway trains that you can sit on. Take you to the
Well, and it's like landscaper John Roberts said, what better way to end up in the imagination of the genius of Charles Schulz than to actually walk into one of his creations. So
fantastic. And that's where we are now.
yes.
Thank you, Lea. That's a beautiful story, and what an honor it is to be here.
It's an honor and so much fun to be here with you as well, Clive. Thank you.
Bless you.
You too.